Alrighty guys, we're back for Rotation Proof Phyrexians, and this is an Outlaws, a Thunder Junction standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. Got a bit of a toxic theme packed in, so we do have all four Skrelv, Defector, Mite. Even if we didn't have that toxic theme, Skrelv would have made the cut. Very powerful Phyrexian. Got all four Crawling Chorus too, nice. Got all four Jawbone Duelist. Double Strike Toxic 1 goes a long way, especially when paired with that Skrelv for the extra toxic going through. We got all four Blightbelly Rats too. Toxic 1, when it dies you proliferate, beautiful. We got Anoint with Affliction as our main piece of removal, so all four of them in here. 2 mana, instant speed, exile target creature if it has mana value 3 or less. However, it has Corrupted. So you exile that creature instead if its controller has 3 or more poison counters, at that point just being a very powerful piece of removal. We do have more removal packed in that fits that toxic theme. Vraska's Fall making the cut as a one of, and also all four Annex Sentry has that toxic one on it as well. But outside of the toxic theme, we just have really powerful Phyrexians and other Phyrexians that'll just work well in here. Of course, Grafted Butcher making the cut. 2 mana 2/2, and when it ETBs, Phyrexians you control gain Menace until end of turn. That Menace should go a long way in here. Now, other Phyrexians you control also get +1/+1. That'll be good. And then also, for 3 and a black, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Return Grafted Butcher from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. Dang, dude, that's a lot of abilities, huh? We have 3 Gix Yawgmoth Praetors in here because it is excellent, especially when paired with Sheoldred the Apocalypse. That's a Phyrexian. And then also at the top end here, we have Phyrexian Obliterator as a one of. So the mana base, guys, we have a whole bunch of fast land packed in. All 4 Caves, all 4 Courtyards, all 4 Cavern of Souls, call Phyrexian, and all 4 the Seedcores as well. That is a lot of fast mana fixing. We should be fine and dandy. Also, leaning towards the swamps because that's what the deck is leaning towards here. A couple planes remaining. We also have a Restless Fortress just in case, as well as a Mirrex too. Of course, the Mirrex fitting that whole toxic theme. Nothing in the honorable mentions this time. Definitely let me know in the comments what should have at least been in the honorable mentions. What did I miss for the build? Okay, I like to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, and see how we do. Right into that first game, guys. Let's go. What am I expecting from the build? I did quite a few test matches with this one, assuming, or I thought I was going to be changing up the list a lot. I didn't end up changing it up at all. I kind of forget right now. I might have changed the mana base a little bit, but okay, I'm going to keep this. So in those test games, the deck did pretty darn good, man. So I'm actually expecting a lot today. But we'll see, we'll see. Boros, Warden, oh no. Alright, well, I'm down to get that Skrelv through. What do you guys think? Let's do this. Get the toxic ball rolling. Yeah, I'm totally okay with that. Although we could have, like, there's no guarantee that we see mana off the top or anything, so we could have gone Rat for the turn, held the Skrelv as protection. Oh, there's a 3rd mana, though. With 2 open, it's probably going to be reinforcements. But that's okay. Let's get the Gix down and see if they end up, like, double blocking it somewhere. Well, actually, hold up. Yeah, no, I'll swing. Right into the reinforcements, because they're just 1/1s. We get that through, and we are going to draw. Looking for that mana for the Sheoldred. Okay, Courtyard's tapped. That's something. Okay, reinforcements for the turn. But that's all they ended up doing. They could have done that on their turn and tapped all 3 for the Warden, but they didn't know if they were going to want to block with the Warden, I suppose, right? The Knight Errant of Eos is scary. Anoint with Affliction doesn't hit it just yet. This is our mana for the turn, unless we draw off the Gix again. See, another Butcher would have been wild. Oh, man. That'd be pretty good to draw into. Give me 1 second, opponent. I am pondering, my friend. We have a few options here. Because if we go Skrelv's ability for the turn and get the Gix through, right, we call white. We get them down pretty good here. We get the draw. I don't want to take the 2. Okay, we could see an untapped source off the top. So we'll do the caves, take the 1 instead of the 2, right? I think that's fine. Call white here. And then swing with Gix. Now, there's a possibility that they traded into Gix and we could have like called it on the Butcher instead. We'll take that action. We still ended up taking quite a bit of damage there. Courtyard is a tapped land, unfortunately, and this is going to be Blightbelly. Hopefully we don't die next turn. We do have a chump on the Blightbelly if we need it. And then Anoint with Affliction can take care of the Knight. Or like a second Knight. Right, we want the Anoint with Affliction to take out a blocker, not a future attacker. Is the concept there, I suppose. They do have enough here where the case could come down and take out something pretty important. Case of the Gateway Express has been on time very often. Double block with the Butcher, luckily, and the Blightbelly Rat, and we could probably let the Knight Errant slip on through, so we have pretty good blocks here on the ground. Another Warden. They might tap down for the turn. They have 5 creatures, could be Knight Errant. Then we go Anoint with Affliction on the Knight Errant, full swing. Actually hold it all back. Phyrexian Obliterator is terrific, dude. Oh my goodness. That's really, really good. Okay, so do we just take the turn to play that and just do like nothing else? Keep the Skrelv open for protection? Yeah, Obliterator is wild. With Gix gone, no extra draws. I'm going to be taking 1 from the caves if we do that. We should be a little bit afraid of them dropping like an Imodane's Recruiter next turn. Should definitely be a little bit afraid of that. Maybe Sheoldred's a little better. Nah, I like the Obliterator. I like this. Let's do it. We're just going to hold back for the turn. We only have 3 blockers. That's why Recruiter would be so scary. And then we could still get a little bit through here with the Skrelv, but I think we want to keep all the blockers then. If the Courtyard was untapped and we got like an extra chump blocker with the Chorus down, then maybe I would have risked the swing with like the Blightbelly Rat. Against Boros, dude, Obliterator should be wild. Evangelist, nice. Yeah, they're gonna have plenty of things to sacrifice if they have chump blockers. Okay, Knight Errant of Eos. We get to exile 1 of those. I wonder if it would be Evangelist since it has that death trigger. Actually, with Skrelv and the Trample on Obliterator, see what we see on the top first. Because like Butcher would just end this because of the Menace. Okay, mana. So if we go Anoint onto Evangelist, they have 2 blockers. If okay, and then it's Sheoldred for the turn too. So we'll take care of the Evangelist. The Obliterator gets through unless they want to sacrifice a whole bunch of stuff. And I suppose at that point it would be a full swing. Because then if 8 gets through, Sheoldred ends it. So full swing. And they don't know we have the Sheoldred to play for the turn. Man, there's a lot of options this game, and I feel like there's a whole bunch of different ways I could have potentially played this out. So 8 gets through. They might block the Butcher. 9 gets through. Either way, hopefully they don't have like emergency life gain at instant speed for the Sheoldred. Then Boros rarely runs extra removal outside of the case, so it could be instant speed removal too packed in. But I doubt it. We rarely see that. Okay, that's where they end up blocking. They do end up taking 9 here. And the Seedcore only buffs the 1/1s, by the way. We don't have any of those right now. So at that point, actually, if we wanted to get... Okay, well, either way, it's going to be Sheoldred for the turn. So let's do that. It could be instant speed removal. They dropped the GGs. Good game. All right. Yeah, Boros rarely runs anything outside of the case, so that's why we put it all into the Sheoldred. So, technically, since they decided to take 9 there, let me go over this real quick. Technically, we could have just called white on the Skrelv ability, on the Blightbelly Rat, swung with Obliterator, and the Rat, because then they can't block the Rat. If they block the Obliterator, they'd have to sacrifice 4 things, that's a lot of things. That's something that they would not want to do. But I think doing it this way and getting that at least 8 through no matter what, and then playing Sheoldred, while it could have been risky because we don't exactly know what's in the opponent's deck, I just feel like, yeah, going for that lethal that turn was much better, even if it was a little bit risky. Good stuff, man. What about you guys? If you're running Boros, do you guys have any instant speed removal? Yeah, usually it's just the case, and the case is like always on time recently. So you got to completely play around knowing that, like, okay, turn 3, like this comes down, they pop this creature, and it usually lands. All right, we go first. Good stuff, man. So probably Duelist over the Rat. Maybe. Mano. Whatever we play here probably dies, but it's probably still a risk of the Duelist. Because if the Rat dies, we'd rather it die later on when the Proliferate actually means something. The Duelist might be around for now. We have a beautiful hit with the Anoint with Affliction, but nothing else for the turn. But we should do that, get the Poison Ball rolling. Okay. All Phyrexian. Anoint with Affliction. Hit that while they don't have any protection open. Get some poison through. Too bad we don't have one of our 1-drops in hand, because that would have been a really good turn if so. Hey guys, why didn't I play the Annex Sentry? Why didn't I play that Annex Sentry? I have no idea, honestly. I was looking at the Anoint with Affliction, but Sentry is also our removal. So, awkward, because now it's turn 4 and we could have had Anoint open with the Rat. Oh well, let's see if the Anoint with, let's see if the Annex Sentry hits here, because it could easily be protection for the turn. It is going to be a shore up, and no attacks. Yeah, that's a little awkward. I don't know why I didn't play Sentry on 3. Sleight of hand. Looks like Shredder's going to get that connive through. With Shredder, I wonder if is it second spell? I'll block on the ground. Well, how much poison do I plan to get through? We'll also potentially have Fortress to power up next turn. Let's let this go through. Monstrous Rage and stuff would go right over top of the Sentry anyways. And taking a little bit of extra damage might not be too bad when we can really start pouring the poison through. We could power up the Fortress too. Back up to 12. We might die next turn if we don't gain a little bit here. With 3 poison, I suppose it should be the Fortress. Also, like, Lightning Strike only hits the Duelist. And if they do take care of the Duelist, then we have to rely on bigger. It's going to be Play with Fire on the Duelist. Yeah, so now we're not relying on poison, we're relying on actual damage, so powering up that Restless Fortress was pretty good. Yeah, hopefully we don't get too punished here for me playing things in an awkward order. Oh, that's a lot of mana. That's a lot of mana. We should keep the Sentry back this time to block the etching. They have 4 open here. We'll get the Seedcore down. I would rather tap like this and keep a... No. No. That's funny. Wait a minute. How am I tapping this? Oh, the white source. I see. So we keep a Cavern of Souls open over the Seedcore then. Yeah, we don't have another white source outside of the Concealed Courtyard and the Restless Fortress. So I was like, what is this auto tapper doing? But okay, we're gonna keep a blocker on the ground with the Sentry. Because even if they give trample to the etching, then the Sentry still has a pretty big booty. Anyone's game for sure. Monstrous Rage in the air. We might be dead. Lightning Strike. Connive. We are dead. That's a 6/6 Ledger Shredder. Oh no. GG opponent. So bringing them down to 4. 3 poison. That white literally could have come down to me playing things out of order, right? I think so. Also, a little bit of a flood. Not too concerned, though. I think the deck list is proving itself nicely. I don't think we want to go down any mana by any means, unless we end up flooding out in a lot more of the games today. Yeah, no, I think I'm going to blame myself on that one. That was really weird. And then I saw, like, the Annex Sentry after the fact, and I was like, what is this still doing in my hand? All right, we go first again. Beautiful stuff, man. A little bit of a slow hand, and this is a lot of mana. Based on like how much mana we actually ended up seeing last game, that should be a little concerning. We could mulligan. Look for something a little greedier. But I'm not going to, actually. I'm going to keep this. This is one of those things where can we really complain about this hand? Maybe. Of course, we'll call Phyrexian on the Cavern of Souls, but we'll wait for turn 2 just in case we see something else. I'll just get the swamp and the plains down first. As for the opponent, it might be a very good thing that we went first here. Could be some mono red over there. We'll go ahead and pause until the opponent shows up. Okay, the opponent has arrived. Let's get that swamp down. Plains. Swooping Lookout. Hey, that's a Phyrexian. Mirror match? Maybe. Alright, Grafted Butcher can come down just because. Not getting like the menacing feature on the Butcher. It's totally fine as long as we're still curving out. Plus Gix on 3 swing with Butcher is really good. Fabrication Foundry. Oh, wow. Hotshot Mechanic off of the Foundry. Well, that blocks the Butcher a little bit too well. Oh, man. All right, let's get the... We do have the Vraska's Fall, too, if we wanted to do that, but they'll just do the Lookout then. It's just going to be, we'll call Phyrexian on the Cavern, get the Gix down, and wait. Because that is a easy peasy trade for the opponent. Gix number 2 might not be too bad here. So mono white artifacts is likely, I would say. Yeah, I wasn't expecting a turn 2 Fabrication Foundry. So this is a 2 mana artifact. You can tap it for a white mana, spend this mana only to cast an artifact spell, or to activate an ability of an artifact source. Patchwork Automaton, what's up, dude? And a Skrelv off of the Foundry. Dude, I am genuinely scared right now. That is a lot of things. Sheoldred, hi. Right, so I guess it's Sheoldred for the turn, but we should accept any double blocks they want off of the Gix. So I'll keep the Butcher back. We'll swing here. Mechanic. Yes, I'm going to keep the Butcher back. They are going to go for the double block into the Gix. I accept that trade easily. That's really good for us. Maybe they plan on just dumping more onto the board next turn. Yeah, right now we're playing like a mid-range role, so Sheoldred is going to be excellent here. Clay Champion. Dude, all right. All right, opponent. Very nice. They keep the Skrelv for protection, of course. They wouldn't want to swing into our 5/6 Sheoldred. Land off the top. I guess that's not terrible. They don't have a great block with Sheoldred. Let's get the Gix down and get the draw off of the Gix. We might find something. Another one of those games where like another Butcher, like the menace ability on the Butcher is like completely legit. They go for the chump, and the chump is not bad for us. Anything that just gets more off of the opponent's board is going to be good. Another Foundry, and they only have one card remaining, so they need a way to replenish their hand somehow. They're still getting decent swings in the air, but with Sheoldred gaining us life, they're less decent swings for sure. The Vigilance is great, though. Skrelv, okay. We get our 6th mana down. Yeah, that's a block there. They have 2 open. We will continue to keep Butcher back and get that swing. See if we can get some card draw here, too. Virtue. Oh. Okay. So they get more chump blockers. I'm going to hold the fall for now. Let's see what they end up doing here with the blockers. Interesting. Do you guys think they'll sacrifice the Skrelv here? We'll take out the Lookout for sure. Okay, let's see what they do with this fall. Because if they do get rid of the Skrelv, actually. Okay, interesting. We'll take that card draw for sure. Annex Sentry, so good. Oh my goodness. I will take the knight off the board and let them keep their Foundries. I didn't even get a chance to read the bottom part of the Foundries. I probably should do that, right? GG opponent. Oh my goodness. That was a great example of a game where our creatures are just so strong and proven already, and they just happen to be Phyrexians, so they're fitting the theme, you know what I mean? All right, so opponent's deck list was really cool, and I really want to read this bottom ability on Foundry because we very rarely see this. So for 2 and a white, you can tap this, exile 1 or more other artifacts you control with total mana value X. Return target artifact card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, activate only as a sorcery. I wonder how often that would come into play. So with this ramping them, the Patchwork, the clay Champion, really neat, man. Really neat. Virtue, of course, is an enchantment. I don't know what the Virtue's doing in here outside of, I guess, buffing wide, and they were going wide pretty well. Yeah, cool. All right, onwards to the next one. Yeah, the deck list is totally doing the thing right now. Even if I am not doing the thing, which is good. That is good news. I'm still thinking about that second game. Like, what on earth? Why was that Annex Sentry not the play for the turn? That's really funny. Every now and then that happens, and it's just like a turn later, and I'm like, what was I doing? Was I even playing? Ooh, double Butcher. We go first? What on earth, dude? Okay, I'll keep this. Dude, I think we're getting a little lucky going first all these games. Right? Literally all the games so far. Right? What was the first game? There's some days where I just play too many games of Magic in one day, and they all get jumbled. All right, Cavern, Phyrexian, Crawling Chorus. Oh yeah, dude, what a curve. Any mana off the top, of course, will be huge for us. Cascade, Caves, yep, nice. Butcher number 1. Keep that swing. I'm gonna save Butcher number 2 as a surprise if we have a target with the Sentry. If we don't have a target with the Sentry, then like a 1-drop off the top would be good. Like that. That's good. That's really good. All right. So Caves, Butcher. See what this Cascade does. It does nothing. Swing. They dropped a nice thank you opponent. And now we hope that they don't drop a temporary lockdown on their turn 3. Because we have 12 damage on the board. They need something. Something that's not a small chump blocker that Sentry can pick up. It's going to be a get lost for one of the Butchers. Okay, so they're still in this. Obliterator. With Cascade open, we're going to go map token on Chorus, I guess. Right? Anoint with Affliction. I'm actually going to send that. And then we'll go... Butcher already has a huge target on his back. I'll go on to the Skrelv, I suppose. Crawling Chorus. I'm actually going to send that to you. Well, that could have been good, though. I don't really know. I don't know what we're looking for off the top. But I guess mana would be pretty good. For one of our 4-drops. A board wipe that kills means Chorus... Oh, it's going to be Binding for Butcher. But with our extra counters, we still have 4 on the board. Still going to play the Gix beforehand because we don't know what the Cascade is. GG opponent. Yeah, technically that Cascade could have been some Tempo, Fading Hope, something like that. Even with the green mana there. Hey! Accidentally ranking up through Platinum's the best way to rank up. Let's go, guys. Anyways, sometimes with open green, it's like Seed of Hope or something that gains them a little bit of life. So completely playing that out, making sure like we could restock our hand too off of the Gix. Beautiful stuff, dude. I mean, Phyrexians have just been sitting around waiting to be thrown in a deck list. We've played Phyrexians in the past. I wonder if those Phyrexian lists in the past were also rotation proof. Outside of the mana base, of course, right? Because when we're not playing rotation proof, we're playing with like the utility lands from Neon Dynasty. All right, we go first for some reason. What is happening, dude? I'll keep this. Also, the hands have been pretty beautiful. So we start with Seedcore to take less damage. And start with establishing Skrelv, I suppose. Actually a tough decision because it would depend what we're up against. So if the opponent went first, depending on the mana they play, would depend on the creature we get down. Okay, they go for not popping the Skrelv, which is completely fine. Skrelv number 2 is not going to be terrible. Establishing the Butcher. Butcher gets picked up by pretty much any burn. So we're not going to swing with the Skrelv and just keep protection open. How do you guys feel about that? That's tough, but up against red, we have to anticipate something, and I think Butcher has a huge target on its back. I'd rather them get like really greedy for the turn, and then we drop Gix on turn 3 and reestablish our hand. Maybe Kamano. Ooh. That's not a super greedy turn, but it's a pretty good turn for the opponent, and a great swing here too. Unless they want to keep a blocker. They decide, no, they do not want to keep a blocker. Okay, now we'll take that. Gix is a lot of extra damage if we want to draw 2 here. Annex Sentry. Okay. Okay, since Commando flips next turn and Swiftspear is just sitting there waiting to perish, I'm doing that. And we're still going to keep that Skrelv as protection here, I think, and just swing with the Butcher. I think that's fine. Let's see. So Commando flips, we don't have a great block because Monstrous Rage exists. We don't want to give them their Swiftspear back, but that is a lot of damage that won't be hitting our face. So while it's not a great trade... Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself anyways here. They're just playing Godric for the turn. Still going to be a 4-4, though. Oh, it's going to be a 5-5 in the air. What am I saying? They only swing in the air, going down to 10. Yeah, because that was their second permanent entering because of etching. Godric's a problem, dude. Godric is a big problem. It's going to be all too easy for them to get that into the air next turn, too. Oh, crap. Have I been playing this match out too slow? Maybe. We take too much damage off the Gix here. That's not going to be great. Keeping blockers open on the ground isn't great either. Maybe just, like, going wide. Maybe calling on the Skrelv. Wondering. That Godric is horrible news. I don't know where to begin here. We swing with Sentry on the ground. We could draw one. Maybe see mana play Chorus on the ground. It's a chump blocker for one of the etchings. But also just get the Sentry through. A couple extra Toxic. No, I'd actually rather them block here. Okay, we get through. We're going down to 8, and we're probably dead, let's be real, but it is going to be mana, though. That's good. Phyrexian and Chorus. Not half bad. I'll tell you what, if for some miracle we survive this turn, then seeing, like, Butcher off the top, would that be lethal? Wait, we have 2, 4, 5, 6. We have 10... 12 plus another 5. That would be 17 damage if we were able to keep everything and see a Butcher off the top. They're just swinging in the air. It's a Monstrous Rage. It's an Antagonize. Yeah, no, that'll do it. It's always Monstrous Rage, dude. All right, here we go. Skrelv, protect that Butcher. No, I played it out. I played it out too slow, I'd say, but I think that the opponent was going to... Good game, opponent. I think the opponent was going to get there one way or the other. Even if I played it out a little faster, that Godric was going to be completely menacing. There is one extra thing to note here, too. The Annex Sentry taking the Monastery Swiftspear. The Annex Sentry was the only piece of removal that we saw. We curved out beautifully. I think it was still a great grab. Had we known somehow that Godric was going to be an absolute menace, then the Sentry picking up Godric would have been much, much better. So a little bit of patience there maybe could have helped us out. The problem is we don't know what the opponent has in their hand, and generally speaking, we can kind of assume when it's mono red, we can kind of say like, okay, it's this, this, and this. Not this time around though. The opponent pulled a bunch of surprises for me. As we are 33 minutes into the video, we're going to try one more game. The games have been very fast, and I totally believe that we can end on a high note. And even if we don't, I'm still very satisfied with how the deck list has played out today, especially being rotation proof. There's actually a lot to consider in this build as well. A lot of things going on, even though it doesn't feel like there's a lot of things. Okay, the opponent goes first this time. But this is just not a bad hand at all, is it? Yeah, seeing one of our other pieces of removal that last game was essential for survival because that Godric was just doing too much in the air. Yeah, if we mulligan this, we could potentially find something faster. But since we're on the draw, we could see an untapped land. This is like our only tapped land in the entire deck. We'll get it down turn 1. Start setting up these rats. Mirrex. Play fire bricks. Okay. Okay, up against like, if we're up against like mono white mid-range, and mono white mid-range having like a lot of life gain, then the poison could really come in handy. Okay, Blightbelly Rat. Get down and get established. Passing it back with 3 open. Another Butcher. That's terrific. Let's start with the swing on the rat, see what happens. I'm not going to get a Butcher down yet. I'd rather those be surprises. Okay. We got the poison ball rolling. Let's get that other rat down. Also, if it's mono white mid-range, they have a lot of exile removal. So these rats probably won't end up dying. They'll probably end up getting exiled instead. Scroll shift. Here's one we don't see too often. Up against a blink build then. Well, they also get extra card draw. Alright, cool. So yeah, they're going to keep their hand nice and stocked up. Grabbed a planes on the bricks. Gained more life. So mana off the top would be fine. We don't need to see it for right now, unless we have good targets for the sentries. I think better targets will just be, or the best thing would be like them getting a chump blocker down and then us just getting some menace on the rats. Or open. Wandering Emperor totally exists, unfortunately. Yeah, it's still going to be Butcher swing with the rats, though. Especially now that we got the 3rd Butcher in hand. My goodness. So with the 4 mana, if they exile a rat, we won't get the proliferate, but at least the other one will get through and get a little bit more poison going. Because, yeah, against mono white mid-range, the games can go on for quite some time. We just swing right into the Emperor. There's definitely no reason to hold back, especially if it's not even in there. It is, in fact, in their hand. So, of course, exile over token because they can't block either of these because of the menace. 2 poison counters gets the opponent down to 21 life as well. Sunfall, so no proliferate on the rat. Oh yeah, dude, this is going to be a tough uphill battle. They decide to keep the Emperor around, and we are missing our 3rd. I don't think it's Butcher. Well, I guess, no, I guess we spend the mana while we have it. And then at the very least, the 3rd Butcher gives menace to the the 2nd Butcher. Yes, the 3rd Butcher gives menace to the 2nd Butcher, and then we swing at the Wandering Emperor, hopefully, but we'll see here. Actually, they can get around the menace because of the Sunfall Incubator, too. Oh, buddy, we are in trouble. There's the 3rd. All right. Well, now what? Anoint with Affliction. We don't have menace on the Butcher unless we play the other one. Maybe we just... Maybe, well... Oh, crap. I guess Sentry. Pick up the 2/2. They have 5 mana open. Any more Sunfalls would probably mean that we're not going to get there, but we also have to anticipate more Sunfalls too. Aven Interrupter. Oh no, opponent's mono white list looks terrifying, dude. Yeah, a lot of really good cards packed in. When we see Interrupter, we usually see High Noon as well. So they could totally scroll shift the Interrupter. Because it doesn't say like at the end of turn or anything. That's actually a really neat addition. They go for the swing. We're just going to take the 5 for sure. I don't know if there's going to be a great way through. The Sentry's 2 mana over here right now. if we can see a mana off the top, play the Annex Sentry, pick up the 3/3 by some miracle, and play the second Butcher, then the Menace will get around the Incubator token. We do not see the mana, but it's probably still the Annex Sentry, but maybe not the 2 mana one, maybe the 3 mana one. And then also, we could have just tried to establish more on the board too. Like Duelist in Chorus, for example. Maybe that's what we'll do next turn. They have a great block here, but do we go for it? Get the Incubator off the board? Probably not, right? Oh, we got to be very careful with Sunfall, dude. It actually affects everything in this list. Because Butcher likes to be in the grave too for 4 mana. And Crawling Chorus likes to die as well for the Phyrexian Mite. And of course, if we do end up picking up something that actually sticks underneath the Sentry, then of course board wipes are terrible for that too. Because it ends up just protecting the opponent's creatures. So luckily we actually had a token to hit. Yeah, Sunfall. Gotta watch out for that, man. Of course, any deck you're playing, you gotta watch out for Sunfall. Wandering Emperor, buff the Interrupter. Field of Ruin, Mirrex. So Field of Ruin can pick up the Restless Fortress. And we're too far from the fortress anyways. For now, I do think that the opponent has enough air power here. Oh, speaking of air power, Interrupter getting a little boost and getting some gnomes on the ground. They're actually going to hold it all back too. Okay. So Anoint with Affliction while they're tapped out. Well, that too. They can't power up the Incubator now. Unfortunately, mana off the top would have been much, much better. But we should take out Interrupter while we can. We do have the Sentry swing. Actually, we have 3 Annex Sentry now that the Interrupter's gone. I almost missed that, guys. Good thing Arena knows how to play. So we can take the Kiln, but then when they pop the Sentry, they'll get that back. So it's a little better to pick up a Gnome here, right? And this is where, like, that Menace really would have come in handy. So, like, 1 extra mana, play the Butcher. So if we full swing at Emperor, they pop the first Butcher. At this point in the game, though, too, at any point, the opponent can just play even more. Maybe we still keep the Butcher back for now. There's a small chance that they don't wipe the board. They do go for the block. Should I still play around the board wipe, though? Probably. Unfortunately, right? It's very tempting to get the chorus down, but Farewell exists in these builds too, so probably all 4 Sunfall and 1 or 2 Farewell, and look at all their mana. And they lost all of their creatures that turn too, so they'd be very tempted by a board wipe. Farewell, and they exile the graves as well. Get a Samurai down. Yeah, good thing we didn't play the chorus. Incubator. Go for the swing. Down to 12. We're in trouble, dude. It is not mana. But Duelist and Skrelv getting down and established is actually pretty darn good. Take 6 for the turn. Still got 4 in hand. Dude, yeah, opponent's deck is terrifying. Pretty much any deck we would have run against this would have had a rough time, I would say. Especially when it kind of felt like they were seeing things on time when we weren't. But maybe I could have played it out a little bit differently in the early game. Maybe not, too. We were very limited to our mana this game. Yeah, some of the matches today felt a little bit like a flood in some of the matches. Felt like we needed a little bit more mana. I think that's just Magic the Gathering. Down to 5. Oh, removal for the duelist. Yeah, dude. I think we're out of this one. Mana. Let's go. All right, let's get that Anoint with Affliction and see if it hits the Samurai, because it could easily be another interrupter. Luckily, though, since we saw the mana too, we actually had enough here to do multiple things, which is good news. So Butcher comes down, buffs the Skrelv. This Wandering Emperor has been an absolute menace because we've been trying to solve the riddle of actually picking it up, but we haven't had any success at that. So getting a chump blocker down for the 3/3 could be fine. We could just go Anoint with Affliction on it as well. Might be better to save that though. Skrelv can't block regardless. If we're not getting the Butcher down, then we should swing with the Skrelv and see what happens. If we get the blocker down instead, it's not like this has 5 damage on it. If we block with the Chorus and get a 1/1 back, then at the very least we'll still have more creatures on the board that's affected by the Butcher. You know, at the very least, I want to be able to take out that Wandering Emperor. All right, Trump Blocker is actually allowed to do the thing here. They didn't have removal for it. Yeah, if nothing else this game, that Wandering Emperor has to go. Butcher is the play for the turn. Blightbelly Rat, of course, doesn't have haste. We could establish a couple Trump blockers. I think it doesn't really matter, though. At the end of their turn, they're going to do Mirrex for more. All right. Butcher, as I was saying. Come on, come on. We have to take out that Wandering Emperor. Like, that is the goal for the whole game right now. Since there's no way of actually winning. Come on. They're letting me. They're letting me. No, opponent. No. No. Oh, it's gonna be the Butcher. Dude, brutal stuff. The opponent not even letting us take care of that Wandering Emperor. Oh, they still have more too. Gonna take care of the Skrelv. Oh yeah, man, we were in trouble regardless. Like this was gonna be a loss pretty much no matter what, even if we saw mana earlier too.
I never give up.
And they still have enough to activate the Mirrex as well. Yeah. Like sometimes we go up against these and sometimes we're like, man, it really is as simple as one Sunfall. And other times it's like, it wasn't that simple. It was everything adding up. I really liked the opponent's Scroll Shift edition with the... let's take a look here. If the game lets me. Battlefield. Clay-fired bricks. Yes. We played with clay-fired bricks a few times in the past. Excellent card, dude. I love that extra life gain as well. And yeah, pairing it with the Scroll Shift is awesome. So a couple, I guess they did have a couple board wipes total. They did have that Farewell as well. And I don't think it would have been likely that they actually missed a board wipe too, so. All right, guys, let's go over the deck list again. I believe we had a 50% total win rate then today. It's totally fine when you're playing rotation-proof deck lists and, you know, and everyone else is still playing with the older things that are already established to be powerful, like Wandering Emperor, for example, right? So if we look here, we are losing Midnight Hunt, Crimson Vow, Neon Dynasty, and Streets of New Capenna. Those are exiting, so the deck was built with everything else here, from Dominaria forward. Most of the deck list is actually from Phyrexia, All Will Be One, and then I believe we have some March of the Machine cards as well packed in. A little bit of everything, honestly, though. I think overall it's going to be fine. Honestly, dude. Like I said, yeah, 50% win rate is probably about right, but honestly, if I would have played it out a little better too, and I think you guys could pilot it much better as well, I think it could do more than a 50%. Especially after rotation. Of course, we don't know what new cards are going to come out. You never know if the next set is going to be absolutely broken, so I guess we do have to be cautious in that sense too. So you could probably put it on the do not craft list because of how expensive it is too, because we got Obliterator being mythic and Gix being mythic, Sheoldred being mythic. Let's see. How much of the deck is expensive and what isn't expensive? Let's separate it real quick, actually. We got commons, uncommons, rares. Okay. Actually, the Anoint with Affliction is uncommon too. No. Common. You know what, guys? That's actually not as bad as I think. Oh, well, if we look at the mana base, though, the Caves, the Courtyard, Cavern of Souls is mythic, Seedcore is rare, Mirrex is rare, Restless Fortress. Did it hold us up today? No, I think it's fine. I totally think it's worthwhile too. All right, guys. The deck has been sorted by rarity. That is pretty expensive once the mana base gets mixed into the rares, of course. So we could probably say, put it on the do not craft list, especially if it didn't look that great to you today. But I'll tell you what. It felt pretty powerful to me. What I want to say about the list. First of all, we just have powerhouse cards packed in. Between the Gix and the Sheoldred alone, if that's our top end, we're pretty happy about that, man. Sometimes we saw stuff out of order, but overall, the opening hands were terrific, and the curve was absolutely huge, too. I also think that we have enough removal packed in, although I do know some people might not agree with the amount of removal, and they might want more, especially in Orzhov colors. It's Anoint with Affliction and Annex Sentry, and then outside of removing things, you're also squeaking things by with Skrelv here as well. Oh, Vraska's Fall too. If you're concerned about some of the legends or like how the deck curves into that mid-game and stuff, like I could see it dropping Skrelv down to 3, going up like a cut down, and maybe Sheoldred down to 2, and going up your choice spot removal at that point too. I'm not sure if the Vraska's Fall is actually worthwhile, because more often than not, how often are we going to get the 10 poison rather than just getting 20 damage through? With the Butcher in here, I think the 20 damage is actually just going to be more often than the poison. And the poison is just kind of like secondary. Does that make sense? Does that sound right? Probably. I don't really know. It's going to depend on the match for sure, because against that last opponent too, they were gaining so much that I think our best bet would have been the poison, but we had a really hard time actually getting anything to stick on the board, and a really hard time playing multiple things on the same turn too, because we didn't have much mana. Speaking of the mana, 24 total mana. Sometimes it felt like too much, sometimes it didn't. 24 is pretty basic. 24 is like, is that average that people would usually go for. 24 makes a lot of sense to me because of how many 3-drops there are. I'd say more often than not, you want to see your 3rd mana on turn 3 no matter what, and same thing with turn 4. Because our curve peaks at 2, that means that, you know, turn 1, turn 2, you got 1-drop, 2-drop. Turn 3, it could be one of your 3-drops, which are pretty essential 3-drops, or 2-drop, 1-drop, and then turn 4... you could miss a mana, potentially, and you'd be a little bit sad about that. But on turn 4, if you hit your mana, which is one of the reasons why there's 24 in here, then you could play 2 of your 2-drops, and there's 16 2-drops in here. If you're not playing 2 of your 2-drops, then you're dropping a Sheoldred or something. So it does make a lot of sense. I definitely 100% would not go up to 25, period. Right? 25 would be if we had 1 or 2 5-drops or more 4-drops or more 3-drops at that point too. We could drop a mana maybe. 23 might work. Definitely depends on you guys. I know I get comments every now and then saying I play with too much mana. That's possible. But I find that I often say things like, oh, mana off the top and we win. And I feel like I say that a lot, like every single video. And so if we drop mana, that happens even less. Less than we flood? Yeah, I don't think we flood as much as we just crave more mana off the top, right? I think so. Not 100% certain though. What else do we have to say about the list, guys? Yeah, absolutely devastated by exile effects because things like to be in the grave like Butcher, things like to die like Chorus, and the Blightbelly Rat too. The Proliferate on the Blightbelly Rat actually isn't going to do as much as we would have hoped. So is there any like 2-drop Phyrexian that we could potentially think? Phyrex, however we spell that, at 2 mana. And we'd want to replace it with a creature for sure, because that's what the deck is trying to do. And having Toxic on it would be nice as well, of course, right? But we do have like other options here. Morn's Inquisitor could be interesting. Nothing else really fits that incubator theme, though. Vran is an interesting one, but we don't have any like extra sacrifices. Things die all the time. That just would lean it even further down the oh crap, Sunfall's coming range. And Sunfall would just be so devastating if we lean even further into the whole death side of things, right? How about flying? More evasion. That has Toxic. This is also just a common. This Siphoner could be interesting, but I feel like it gets... it really comes down to, is a 2/2 without evasion better than a 1/1 with evasion? Probably not, especially since the rat also has the Proliferate, and every now and then we're actually going to really want that Proliferate for the Toxic. I don't know, guys. Let me know in the comments. But I am thinking maybe the Blightbelly Rat could be traded out for something. There might be something up here that I'm missing too. A Phyrexian Missionary is interesting, and we are rocking Orzhov. So if you kick this, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. The lifelink is really nice here too. If we end up leaning more white, we might want like the even split between plains and swamps then. And if you do the even split between plains and swamps, there are going to be moments where you have trouble getting the Obliterator down, but not too many moments because man, oh man, do we have a lot of mana fixing in here. Okay, guys, hey, enough rambling. Yeah, let me know in the comments, what would you add or take out? Let me know if you had fun with this list, and yeah, I think that's it. I feel like I could talk about this list for another 10 minutes easily, but at the same time, I'd probably be repeating myself a little bit. Oh, I thought this Doorkeeper, dude, I thought this was a Phyrexian for a second, but no, it erased my search up there. I was like, wait a minute, that's interesting, but no. It is not a Phyrexian. Okay, guys, like I like to say, enough rambling. If you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions, and I super duper appreciate you. Make sure you check out that description where we got that a Patreon link as well as that Discord link if you're interested in joining either of those up. Okay, hey, I will see you in the next video.